Hey everyone, I'm here with Julie Verninger. How you doing, Julie?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for being on my channel. This is great. I wanted to have you on because you teach something. It says here, digital products and printable seller. You do something that's not print on demand, but still making money online. So it's kind of adjacent. And I wanted to give my subscribers just another way to make money online. Does that sound good?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. I've been wanting to learn more about this personally too, because I hear a lot about it, and you're the perfect person to teach us about this because you've been doing it for, well, we'll get into it, how long you've been doing it and everything and what you do. So I guess my first question is, tell my audience a little bit about yourself and how you got into making money online.
Sure. So I started my career in tech and I enjoyed it, but I found my lunch breaks and walking to and from my commute to work, I always would put my AirPods in and I'd listen to all these podcasts about making money online. And
Mm.
even though I felt fulfilled in my career and I had a good job, something was calling me like, you're supposed to be an entrepreneur. And I found it just so exciting. So for myself, I started selling on Etsy as a side hustle that I could do while I was working 9 to 5. And I actually picked temporary tattoos first, a physical product. And what I found is that I would make these large orders of like 1,500 tattoos, and then only 500 of them would sell because I made a mistake on the design choice. And then I had these tattoos in my closet under my bed for years. But I went to a conference. I met someone that sold digital products on Etsy, and I love the idea of it. I'd been selling in the bachelorette party space, so I just transitioned my shop to be bachelorette party digital products versus the temporary tattoos, and that started taking off. And it was much more achievable for me working full time to make a digital product. I would make it one time in Canva, and then theoretically hundreds of people could buy that digital product from me. No shipping, no inventory, no making design decisions. If I wanted to change a design, I could do it very, very quickly. And from there, I was sold. So that was back years ago. That was probably 2017, 2018. And then in 2019, I partnered with Cody Berman, who was a fellow podcaster, and we launched Gold City Ventures, which is our education community for digital product and printable sellers on Etsy.
Nice, great story. Yeah, I'm always fascinated with the digital product side of things, because like you mentioned, like there's no like nothing to print, nothing to ship. Like it's there, and it seems like the profit margins. I'm sure you're going to get into to all of it. So I noticed when I went to the Gold City site, Gold City Venture site, like you mentioned, you say e-printables or something like that. Is there a difference between printables and digital products? I know you mentioned both.
We both sell both, and a lot of our students sell both. Digital products are more maybe like an Instagram template or something that the customer never actually prints out, but there is a huge market on Etsy for printable products. And you may think in 2025, who has a printer anymore? But people do, and they buy things and they print them. And in the printables market, kids, teachers tend to be the big niches, birthday, decorations, anything that's DIY. And honestly, that has only boomed over the years because back in the day, people would go to the store and buy these things. But
Mm,
now what they do is they print them out and they DIY it. And Pinterest and all that has exploded the DIY community.
wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So let me see if I get this right. So digital downloads may or may not be printable, but printables are the ones that you're printing, right? So that's kind of the
Yeah.
difference. Okay, cool. I get
And
it now.
people sell both. I mean, you
People
can
sell
sell a
both. Yeah,
Google Sheet, a Notion
yeah,
template.
yeah,
That those are I sell Word templates, I sell Canva templates. We call those digital downloads, but
right.
they could also be printed. And then
Yeah.
sometimes you just sell a basic PDF and
Okay.
you're making them typically in a program like Canva, and then you're uploading them directly to Etsy.
Sweet. Okay, great. Okay, I think now we get like the basics of it. My next question is kind of more for how do you do it? So, are there any tools that you use for your business, that people can use, and what do you use?
So to make the products, most of us right now are using Canva,
Okay,
and we use Canva Pro.
okay.
Canva Pro recently changed their terms. You can now use Canva Pro elements in your printables, which is really cool, and it
Oh,
gives
nice.
you a lot more variety. We don't use Canva Pro elements when we make templates, though. I will mention that because
Oh,
then the
okay.
customer needs Canva Pro. And there's nothing that makes a customer more mad than if they paid you money and then they have to go pay Canva money to download a
That makes
premium
sense.
graphic.
Okay,
So
that makes
just
sense.
a slight caveat on that. But
Mhm,
most of us are using Canva Pro to make the designs.
mhm.
And then on the product opportunities side, we use a lot of eRank, Everbee, Insight Factory, and then recently I've been using Profitry, and I really enjoy that for finding opportunities of what to sell. Because in this space, it's very competitive, but there's still a lot of opportunity, and you can find those hidden gems using these tools. And then there's less competition for you as you go about making and listing one of your first products.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so maybe we can show that. Like, how do I know if printables is something I should sell, or what kinds of printables I should sell? Do you have kind of a how to find these kinds of things?
Yes, let me pull this up.
Okay,
So
good,
the
good.
first thing I just wanted to say that this bachelorette scavenger hunt was my first big
Oh,
seller of
nice.
printables,
I see it.
and it's a bar crawl scavenger hunt. This is a one pager, and this has continued to sell for years and
That's
years
so
and years.
fun. I didn't even
So
think about that.
sometimes with this printable stuff, maybe you don't have to jump on the trends as much as you might need to with POD or some of the other
Right.
avenues with Etsy. They live a little bit longer than
Hmm.
we see
Yeah.
typically.
Yeah.
And I've had to update this over the years as other sellers came into the space. Like, for example, the used to be letter size one pagers, but then they must have seen on social media the people attending Bachelorette these lanyards. So I had to do 2
Ah.
5x7 designs on one page because the girls would put them around their necks as they go about the bar
Oh,
crawls.
smart.
So you
Okay.
just have to pay attention to kinda
Yeah.
how
Keep
culture
on
is
it.
changing and then
Hmm.
update your printable, but I haven't had to update this very much over the years.
Yeah, and as far as do you also do it as a digital download? I was kind of thinking maybe they have it on their phone or whatever too.
I do, I give them the mobile option as well,
Wow, that's so
and
smart.
and they can edit it. So, sometimes
Wow.
they wanna make it specific to
Uh-huh.
what they're doing on the bachelor party. So, all those things I kinda added as extra features over the years.
Wow, so
And in
smart.
the printable and digital download space, you only have to be better than what's currently out
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So, you might be intimidated thinking, "Oh, I have to make it editable, and I have to do this, and I have to do that." You don't have to offer it in 12 different sizes. Just see what the best sellers are
Hmm.
and be one step ahead of them. And
Okay.
then over time, if you see your sales start to go down, you're like, "Okay, why is this happening?"
Is there
And you
something?
might
Yeah.
find out they want something different, like they wanted the different sizes or they want customization or there's some other thing. But I
Okay.
have a very let's keep it easy approach to doing this on Etsy,
I like
and
that.
you don't have to go crazy unless you have to.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah.
So I kinda queued up 5 different niches of digital
Okay.
products that you can sell in, and I
This
found
is
all
great.
of these using Profitry,
All
and
right.
they have a section of their tool where you can type in different keywords, and then it'll pull up what is selling right
Oh,
now on Etsy, and then they'll give you estimated monthly revenue and estimated total revenue, and you can
wow.
find some gems in there. So, the first one I did because one of the biggest myths I think of digital downloads is that you have to sell these things for $1.50,
Yeah.
and I know many Etsy sellers are like, "Well, that's not worth it to me. I don't wanna have to get
Mm,
thousands of sales to make money."
hmm.
But if you find the right niche and you have the right background, or you are a skilled AI ChatGPT user, or you have a friend that's in a certain niche or profession, you can make some good money here. So this is a family nurse practitioner planner, and it's
Wow.
really for nursing students, and that's a huge niche on
Yeah.
Etsy.
Yeah.
But this particular planner, the one on the left that you see, the digital one, that
Uh-huh.
has only been listed, I think, for around a month, and it's already making an estimated, like, $8,000 in monthly
What?
revenue, and
That's
it's a
nuts.
$75 info product.
And it's
Now
digital. It's
and
not,
it's
you don't
digital.
print it at all.
Yes.
Wow.
The one that you see next to it, the blue one, that one
Uh,
is actually printed and shipped to you, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that person saw that this one was printed and was like, "Okay, I'll just make it digital and make it $25 less."
Yeah.
And it
Smart.
worked.
Smart.
So, that's taken off. Now, of course, to do this you need some sort of either medical background or you have to have
Right.
some way that this information is correct. I would not be making products in niches that you have no clue about, that you don't know how to
Good
verify,
point. Yeah.
but I'm sure there's ways that these people are getting around it. Like, I doubt if these people making it were nurses, they would advertise that. A lot of them don't,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of us sell in spaces that we are not in.
Yeah.
Now, the medical space is tricky, but I just wanted to say, these that's a very good margin on this product. I don't know how much it costs the person to produce the product or if they made it themselves, but you can imagine, minus Etsy fees, you're keeping all of that yourself.
True.
So it's pretty nice.
How did you find it? So I use Profitry a little bit. So did you filter it by over $75? And how did you kind of use? Profit you to find this?
Well, myself, I knew that the nurse niche was big, so I wanted to find something.
Ah,
I think I typed in nurse
uh-huh.
printable or nurse
And
digital
then you
download,
saw this on the
and I saw
table.
family nurse. And
Wow.
it's like anything where you have to type in the root keyword,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you'll find the example keywords from the
yeah.
list. And there's ICU nurse, and there's all different types of nurses. So you don't
Uh-huh.
have to do family nurse, you could do other ones.
Oh,
I
cool.
did notice some people, they were trying to sell pediatric nurse versions of this, but for whatever reason, the word family is what the person is expecting, family
Um,
NP. So
mhm,
sometimes you have to know the jargon of, well, what do these nursing students call themselves and what do they resonate with?
like you see.
And make
Okay,
sure that you're making the product that they want. But that's
cool.
how I found
That's a
it.
good find. Wow, that's amazing.
75 bucks, you can't beat that. There's
Yeah.
some in the home design space that we're selling for 200, like a home
Wow.
designer get started bundle or
And what
something.
blows my mind is it's all digital, so you don't even have to like that's crazy. It's
Yep.
just crazy.
Okay, so the next one, this is more what people think of, and I would say this is our bread and butter.
Uh-huh.
Most people, when they get started with something like this,
Simple. Yeah.
they just want something easy to make
Mhm,
as they're
mhm.
learning how to use Canva,
Of
and
course.
something simple like a bucket list template. This person didn't even fill in the bucket list. It's like the lorem ipsum of
Yeah.
bucket lists.
Make your
But
own.
they're, in that case, you're not making $8,000 per month on something
Yeah.
simple like that, but they're making $200 per month, and I bet
Yeah.
you it took 200 seconds to make that bucket list.
Yeah. Exactly. Copy
It's
paste.
one
Yeah.
pager. It doesn't, so if you can imagine if you had, like, 10 simple products like that,
Yeah.
that adds up, that $200 times
Think
10
of
adds up.
different lists, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and bucket list is something that we all know the term. It's
Mhm.
checking off goals as you go throughout
Mhm.
your life, but
Mhm.
there's certain times a year because we really are big on seasonal printables, and you can sell this
Mm.
all year, but you can imagine that
Yeah.
September back to school and then January when people are
Exactly.
doing New Year's
New Year's.
resolutions,
Yeah.
that's the time to really list a product like this. But
Makes
I
sense.
wanted to mention it because you don't have to create something elaborate. And in fact, if you're just getting started and you've never used Canva before, maybe you shouldn't be designing wedding
Mm.
programs, even if
Right.
you can make a lot of money on it. Maybe you should just
Right.
try this first.
Or
So
$75
here's a good
books.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and the third one, so the crafting niche is so huge, and anytime I look at it, I look at all of us Etsy sellers, and then I look at how many crafters there are, and there just, like, are a million more people that are into crafts,
Uh-huh.
and crochet has just exploded. I'm
Wow.
also a blogger too, and I like to
Okay.
look at which blogs get the most traffic, and the
Mhm.
crochet blogs are
Really?
absolutely out of control. Like, they're
Wow.
the top by far
Makes sense.
in some of the spaces that I'm looking at blogs, like the lifestyle blog, crafting blogs, things.
Uh-huh.
So applying the element of seasonal to digital products is really the
Mhm.
way that we think to do it, and that's how
Mhm.
you get the biggest return on your time and kind of that immediate feedback loop. Because we actually find for a lot of sellers that are getting started, if they don't make a sale pretty quickly, they get really discouraged, and it's just easier, and we see it happen. We've helped 20,000 people do this.
Wow.
The ones that stick with it, they got those early sales, and they were selling seasonal.
Wow.
So if you
It's
are a crafter, you could put up a product that could be sold year round, but you're probably gonna have an easier time if you try to target a holiday that's maybe
Mhm.
6 to 8 weeks in advance.
Mhm.
And for right now, that holiday would be like Halloween, and there's some really
Yeah.
cute stuff. And you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have to
yeah, yeah.
make like a huge bundle of 500 things. You just have to figure out like what is cute. And right now, ghosts reading books
Yeah.
is a big trend. So
Oh, there it
that
is. Ghost
there it
reading
is.
books. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ghosts are the new gnomes. People like ghosts.
Ah, I have seen a lot more ghosts even on the print on demand side. Yeah,
They love ghosts. So this
yeah.
is a good example. And when if you look on Etsy, you can use a tool like Profitry to find, okay, seasonal crochet patterns are big, and then you could go on Etsy
Search
and type
for it.
it back in and see. And there's some other ghosts. I was not going to put the picture here, but a not safe for work version of a ghost crochet item that might be interesting if someone wants to see and wants to laugh to see what people are selling on Etsy.
Oh, that's
I'll give
crazy.
them that homework.
Okay.
um,
Go look.
but it's definitely a niche that's here to stay and
Mhm.
only continuing.
Cool. I love that you have the proof too with Profit Tree. You can see like it is selling, it's making it, so people are buying it, right? So,
Yep,
yeah.
I mean, people are even starting to sell the Christmas ornaments, the crochet
Wow,
Christmas
already.
ornaments,
So
yeah.
now is the best time, like got you on at a great time, I think, for my subscribers because a lot of people want to get into, they know Q4 is coming up. That's the best time to make a lot online, and seems like that's true for digital products and printables as well. So
Mhm, for sure. Okay, the fourth one, if you have some sort of professional background, a
Uh-huh.
hobby, a religious affiliation, that's a great space to dive into in terms of printables and digital products. Or if you're following current events and you're seeing what's happening. So in the case of realtors, people may not know this, but I know because I have an Airbnb rental property, and when I
Really?
bought the property, it was I think it was over 7% interest rate, but this past week, the interest rate dropped to, like, the low 6s.
Oh.
So I've been following interest rates closely, and
Mhm.
real estate and interest rates, they kinda go hand in hand,
Yeah, of
and when
course.
interest rates drop, more people are out open to buying houses,
Mhm.
more people wanna become realtors because they'll make more money, and
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
happened in the big boom. I saw 2021. I actually started selling realtor templates in my shop. I'm not a realtor, but I just
You
could
knew
feel
a little
that
bit, yeah.
what was happening culturally and event-wise in the world was gonna
Right.
come into Etsy as, well, all these realtors now, how are they gonna outmarket compared to the other realtors? Well, they're gonna have better branding,
Mhm.
and they're gonna have social media, and they're gonna put stuff on your mailboxes and all the stuff that realtors do.
And they're gonna need
So
these things, yeah.
yes, so you can make these realtor templates, and the one that I showed pictured, it's an open house sign-in sheet.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy. If anyone's ever shopped
Oh,
for a
yeah.
house, they just collect your name and phone number.
Mhm.
But what I wanted to bring up about this one is that you can make this simple printable, but just pick your head up with what's going on in the industry.
Mm.
And maybe, like, I think a year ago, realtors, there was this new law where the buyer's agent wanted you to sign a contract to say that you were their client,
Mhm.
and the who paid the commission changed. And when that update happened, the sign-in sheets, people wanted to know whether the people attending the open house had a realtor or not. So they
Ah.
made that change. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're selling in, like, a particular niche that
Mhm.
you know nothing about, like, just kind of pay attention to it, like, maybe
Right.
set a Google alert, and you don't have to change it very often, but, like, if I were selling this open house sign-in sheet, I would have changed it back 2 years ago when this came out, or last year. I
Right,
think it was
right,
last
right.
year. I would have done that. So
Makes sense.
I'm a very, like, let's, passive income with these digital downloads, but
Yeah, but
every
updated when necessary, yeah.
yeah, you can't complain then, "Oh, it's not selling anymore." It's like, well,
Yeah.
because there's other one that is a
Mhm.
little better,
Has
and
the
that's
update,
why.
yeah. That
But
makes sense.
you can make a lot of money in the business to business niche because people see it as a
Yeah.
business expense.
Yeah, that's true, that's a good point.
Okay, and then the last one, a lot of people sell social media templates. It can get
Oh.
hard. I saw a good one recently for anyone that does their own aesthetic business, like the beauty business.
Mhm.
'Cause typically in the digital download space, the people that are buying this, they're not, like, in regular professions where they can get access to this through their big company. They're
Okay.
usually, like, solopreneurs, and they're trying to
Yeah.
start their own thing, and the only
Mhm.
place they really can buy it is Etsy
Makes
or
sense.
blogs or something, but no one's gonna give it away for free on a blog.
Right.
So it's like lash techs, massage parlor people, Botox injectors, like anyone that's kind of doing their own microblading, anyone who's doing their own little business.
Uh-huh.
But when you sell to that particular niche, you can. It's just more involved, kind of like what I was saying with the info products earlier. You're going to have to know a little bit about their business model and what they're looking for. But there are other social media templates that you can sell just to regular people, and they're
Uh-huh.
very simple. So the one, I'm 38 weeks pregnant as we're recording this.
Oh,
Um, so
congratulations.
if I can't breathe, that's why. This
Mhm.
baby coming out in 2 weeks.
That's really close, yeah.
Yes, but I obviously, I know about the pregnancy announcement. That's a thing on the internet where people wanna tell people they're having a baby,
Okay.
and this is just easy to make because it's a one post thing. It's a one design.
So is it just I'm trying to understand what this is. It's just a photo and then you're selling that so they can repost it?
Yeah,
Oh.
and you make it editable so they can put
Oh, you make it
their own
editable.
you make it
Oh,
editable to put their own kid's name. Sometimes they wanna put their own kid's ultrasound their actual ultrasound,
I see.
and
On Canva, right? You're making this template on Canva, it's
yes,
editable, and then it's already got the right size and most of the things that you need, but you edit the name. Oh, that's really
yeah,
cool. I
and
didn't even think of that.
I've been selling this type of thing for years, and it's actually so Canva, now you can make the whole thing end to end in Canva. The customers can figure out how to use Canva.
Yeah.
There is another program, Cordial. That's what I personally use
Oh,
to
I
make
never
these
even heard
editable
of it.
products, but
Okay.
over the years, as I've been doing this since teaching people since 2019. We
Wow.
bring in other coaches. All the
Uh-huh.
coaches use Canva now. They don't use
Okay.
Cordial and Template because
Makes
why
sense.
get another subscription if you
Yeah.
don't need one, right?
And a lot of people have Canva already.
Yes, and that has changed. At the beginning, the customers, regular customers didn't have never used Canva before, but actually a lot of people are using Canva, and it's not a problem for them to figure out how to edit text on Canva. It's easy.
Makes sense.
But to make this, You can find lots of these elements in Canva, like the baby shoes and the balloons and all this
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
But you can also, I mean, you could generate some of this stuff with AI if you want to as well. Like have,
That
and you
makes
can do
sense,
all of
yeah.
that within Canva
But
if you
then the
wanna.
text is editable, right?
Yeah, and the text is editable off
Nice.
in the picture. And really the secret hack to this is that, like anything I've been saying, digital downloads are pretty seasonal. So right
Yeah,
now, these ones are showing as bestsellers because we're coming off of the summer season. And
right. Because they look summery.
yes, they look
Uh-huh.
summery. So
Yeah.
if you're listening to this and it's February, a beach one, depending on where someone lives, is probably not gonna do as well, but,
Right, right,
the
right.
Valentine's Day one with hearts
Yeah.
and pink balloons and whatever will do well. And then
Or
the other
Halloween
thing.
and Christmas. Do they do Halloween and Christmas baby
Oh, yeah.
ones?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then
Alright.
moms to be want the little cute sayings that have to do with the holidays too.
Okay.
But you do have to notice that it's like anything, you can't just sell generic.
Right.
So you have to try to think of who the specific customer is.
Yeah.
And so, for example, for myself, this is actually my 3rd kid, so
Oh, congrats.
thank you. So I wouldn't be buying the same one that a first-time mom would
Right.
buy. Like, I would probably have something that would be a little different. Or if someone is like a twin mom, for example,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
gonna buy something different. So you just have to take it your thinking down to that next level and try to come up with something that's a little niche down. Now, Profitry gave me some ideas of
Mhm.
niches and mentioned, religious
Oh, yeah.
as one of the top ones that's selling right now, and you can imagine that the person buying that wants a whole
Mhm,
different look and experience than someone
mhm.
that's buying this beach one.
Right.
Or maybe they want the beach one, but they want the religious beach one.
High-end,
So,
yeah. Mhm.
you gotta really think about not only just who is buying it, but then also what is that person trying to convey about their pregnancy to their friends.
Wow, this is cool. Glad you're showing all these examples because I think a lot of people think maybe have a preconceived vision of what digital downloads are, and these are so many different examples that I didn't even think of. So
Well, thank you. This was fun.
yeah,
This is my favorite part. I like making the designs, but I love looking in the tools and finding the
yeah,
the
me too.
secrets.
I like all the different ideas, like, oh, and then it sparks a different idea and a different idea and a different idea. So it's pretty cool. All right, I just got a couple more questions for you. Thanks for sharing all of that. My next question is, I went to your website and I saw on there, and I'll put a link in this. Well, it's right there, goldcityventures.com. Um, and I saw that you share like Etsy tips, right? You sell these on Etsy. Can you share any Etsy tips with my followers right now and those that are watching? Maybe a few of those Etsy tips that you mentioned in the website.
I think the biggest thing that we're all talking about right now is Etsy's recent change where they want everyone to use their AI generated titles. I don't know if you've
Oh
heard about that, but
no! Tell me more.
oh, it's made the Facebook groups a dumpster fire with just
Oh,
people, upset about this, but they prompted and before they were kind of they've been open about AI, they want you to disclose that you use AI,
uh
but
huh,
they never had any AI tools for the sellers to use within their tool,
uh huh.
and now they have this button where you can update all your listings to AI. But
Oh,
those of us that are coaches and have been around a while, we don't like what we're seeing with the buttons because I see 20,000 students that have been through this, and I have a membership with like 4,000 students.
uh
So
huh.
I'm watching people hit that button at scale, and
Mm.
sometimes that button is producing titles that are not good.
Oh
So
no.
I would say just give it eventually, it will probably get to the point and they need people to use it to test it, but in my own shop and, the other coaches that I work with, we're not hitting the button to generate the AI keywords because, with AI, whatever the output is, you have to take it with a grain of salt and you have to really look at it. And with the title on Etsy, it's important that the primary keyword is at the
Mm,
beginning. It
mm-hmm.
needs to be human readable, of course, but sometimes some of the other keywords that you would put in there that would be considered keyword stuffing, they actually are effective to getting shown up in the Etsy search
Mm,
results. So if you push that button and it eliminates the title to something that pushes you down in search results, then it could affect your ranking. Now, that being said, though, if you have 0 sales yet, or you're not, I'm talking about people that maybe they have like 1,000 sales in their shop, and this could actually really affect their revenue.
mm,
Sometimes for a lot of new sellers, whenever these changes come in, I actually think they kind of over worry about it and they're focusing on that, but they're not focusing on what the actual problems are of why their listing is not selling. And
mm,
everyone kind of has the top problems when they get started. Because now that I've seen a lot of people start shops, I see the same things happening over and over again. And the first thing is that they only make what they want. They don't make what will sell. So that's why we use tools like Profitry to figure out what will sell. Because this is
Right,
not
right.
a hobby, even though it is fun.
Yeah.
It's about making money at the end of the day. So we want you to do that. And then two, their listing images, they just get so tired after they spend all the time making the product that they get, and this happens to me all the time, but you get kind of lazy about making the listing images because you're just so done because you spent so long making the product. And the listing image is the only thing the customer has to go on to whether or not even to click your thing from
Makes
everybody
sense.
else's.
Mhm,
So it's almost like you should be doing it backwards, where you spend the most time on the first listing image.
mhm.
Because at the end of the day, they don't know what your product looks like. But they can
True,
see that listing image, and that's whether they're going to buy or not.
true, true.
So
Yeah.
I think listing images are a huge area. And then the third thing I would say, people just haven't put up enough listings. So
Mm.
you'll see someone, "Oh, I haven't made any sales." And it's like, "Okay, I see 7 Easter items. So how is that gonna happen? It's September," you know? And I say this, like, in jest because that's been me a million times. So that's where I think being part of a community or having a coach or something is really helpful, because often you're getting so in the zone trying to do this that you're just missing the bigger picture of these little things that you can just fix quickly and move forward.
Great. Those are great tips, and very relevant too. I didn't even know about the Etsy button thing. So thank you for sharing all of those. Thanks for sharing all the examples. I have one last question, and that is anything else you'd like to share about selling and making money online? You already shared a bunch of tips, but I'm sure that there's more, right? So maybe
I
share
think
with
the
us a little
last tip I would just say is that a lot of people give up right before they're about to have their big break,
more. Uh-huh.
and it's really hard to know when your big break is going to be. Is it going to be tomorrow, or is it gonna be 6 months from now? And that can be really frustrating, and if you've been continuing to go at it, it's frustrating. And sometimes some people are really motivated by success stories, and other people, it gets them a little bit deflated.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I have seen 20,000 people get started selling printables, and everyone has their own timeline. We have this big thing in our group called the 100 Sales Club, and we celebrate somebody when they get 100 sales, and it's kind of like their big graduation. We send them a gift in the mail. It's
Nice. Oh, that's
huge.
so cool. Yeah.
And how long, and I can see how long it takes someone to make those 100 sales, and for some people, it is 2 to 3 months. But then for other people, it's 12 months, and that
Mhm.
is really hard to hear sometimes. But it doesn't, if you're the 12-monther, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna be successful. For example, this woman, Lisa, I use her as an example all the time because she was a 12-monther, and I remember her posting about her products, and we're giving her feedback, and then now, last time I caught up with her, she had a whole room full of printers, and she's a full-time Etsy seller, and
Wow.
she's a single mom of, like, I think 2 or 3 kids, and she has completely changed her life, and she did make it, and now she's selling greeting cards full-time on Etsy,
Wow.
having started in the printable space and having it took her 12 months to get her first 100 sales. So it's, how long it takes you maybe doesn't correlate with how successful you'll be overall, but it's just we're all coming in with different backgrounds, different skill sets, and we're maybe using more or less outside help, and it might take some people longer, but it doesn't mean your big break is right around the corner. So that's kind of what I would say. It's more telling everyone you're on your own timeline, you're not competing with anyone else.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. I want to make sure that people know about Goat City Ventures. I put the link there and follow you on YouTube. Do you have any other things going on that's coming up? Maybe a course or anything like that, webinar? Or...
Yep, we have a webinar. It's a live
Oh, nice.
training.
Okay.
It's on Tuesday night, September 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's gonna be about
Oh,
an
coming
hour.
up.
And
Nice.
it's, yeah, it will be awesome. It's my business partner, Cody. So he
Okay.
also sells on Etsy, and we both got started years ago, but last year he was challenged. Well, you haven't started recently, so you don't know what it's like. So, all right, I'm going to start again. So he created a brand new shop, and he got to his goal, which was a $1,000 recurring revenue stream from
Wow.
digital products. I think he
Wow.
got in like 4 months. And
Wow.
then he had like a $2,500 week. So he was like, "Hey, you
It
can start
works.
a shop.
Yeah.
Like it still works. It
Yeah.
has always worked. It's
That's
only getting
awesome.
bigger and faster because
That's
more people are
awesome.
looking at Etsy." So Cody is going to be co-hosting with Chelsea. She is a VIP coach in our community. She started out as a student. She's a stay-at-home mom of 3 and a former teacher, and she made
Okay.
$50,000 selling printables and digital products.
Wow.
And she's
Okay.
primarily momming, but she also does this as a side hustle, and she's just had a lot of success. So the two of them are going to be presenting all of their strategies. And Chelsea
Okay.
also be talking about, a lot of people are getting diagnosed with ADHD now, and she has
Mm.
ADHD. So if you're somebody that focus is an issue for you, this will
Hmm.
be helpful because she's going to talk
Okay.
about what she uses to stay on task and still get her goals
Really
moving
cool.
forward.
Yeah, that's important. That's
So
really
we'll
cool.
yeah, I'm sure you'll share the link to that, but
Yeah, yeah, I'll
that's
put it
really
in the
exciting.
description for sure,
And
along with.
even if you can't go live, it will email you the replay so you can check it
Okay,
out.
perfect. Yeah, I like sometimes the dates don't match, but then I like that you can actually watch it anytime. So that's
Yep. Yep, and then we have our ePrintables course, which
okay.
is our A to Z if you are like, "Hey, how do I even make these printables?
Yeah,
How do I find keywords? How do I list them on Etsy? What should I
yeah.
sell?" So we offer that twice a year publicly. So
Okay,
this now we're in our fall launch, and it will be September 22nd, Monday to September 29th, which is a
okay.
Monday to Monday,
Uh-huh.
where you can enroll as part of a big cohort. And what will
Nice.
be fun is that we have the October 30-day printables challenge starting right after.
Wow,
So
perfect.
for people and you get that for free and
Nice.
get free access to our 6 coaches who have thousands and thousands of
Wow.
sales on Etsy, who will give you 2 video listing audits as part of this
Okay,
your free 30 days,
that's
and you
exciting.
get the challenge. So it's gonna and you get 5 extra printable templates. And if you buy during the webinar, you're gonna get, like, 100 extra templates. I mean, it might not be 100, maybe
100.
like 40, but
Wow.
you'll get October, November, and December templates for all the
So get
holidays.
you started, like, off the ground running, like
Yes. So this is
yeah,
a good time because people make sales with
yeah,
these holidays.
yeah.
It's a big holiday thing, and Q4 is a huge time. So
Oh,
this is the
nice.
perfect time to get started with it.
I'm so glad we had you on at the right time. People can, if they're interested in this, have so many resources. I'll put both of those down in the description. Of course, they can go to your website and watch you on the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for being here teaching on this. I was always interested, but I didn't know enough about it to talk about it, and so I'm glad having you on here to talk about digital projects and printables and all of that on Etsy. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I I like that you
Thanks for the
show.
invite.
Yeah. Well, um, I guess that's it. Well, we'll see you, everybody. Make sure to go to the website and the YouTube. Thanks again, Julie. We'll have to talk to you maybe next year and see how this goes again.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Bye.